Amy Warren here, and you've joined us for the weekly Our Millwall fan show with the Millwall No One Likes Us Talking team, which is broadcast every Friday evening. Enjoy!
Welcome back to the 2021-2022 series of No One Likes Us Talking's Our Millwall fan show in the 7th show in our new freedom post-lockdown. I'm your host, Henry Morgan, and I've got the No One Likes Us Talking team of the Premium Bond men this evening, and also the man that took us to the top, as Carl Bates described them, Stan Godwin, Ted Robinson and Jeff Burnige.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Gentlemen, no match last week due to the internationals. Our loanee, Daniel Ballard, scoring for Northern Ireland in a team that didn't feature George Saville in its squad. Other than that, Mahlon obviously heading off to Portsmouth on loan, and Sheyi Ojo headed in on loan from Liverpool. Ted, I'm going to start with you. We've had over 100 emails this week appealing for you to bring back the Prediction League and indicating that Nick Wythe was serious when he asked you on a recent show. What's the situation? Will you? Can you? Won't you? Let us know.
I'm more than happy to bring it back if our producer and the God, it's like anything in football, isn't it? You've got to let the directors decide. They're the men at the top, and we let them decide. I'm happy to do it though.
That's fantastic. What music, I imagine, to Eamon's ears, who's dying to get back involved in it by the sound of things. What did you think about our last bits of business done just before the transfer window closed?
Well, like a lot of people, I think I was sorry that Mahlon went, but yeah. I think he might have struggled this year, if I'm honest. If Danny McNamara had stayed fit, I think Mahlon might have struggled to get a game here and there. But I'm pleased about Sheyi Ojo. This boy, I've watched him like he was a young lad when he went to Liverpool, and he looked like a star in the making. And like a lot of youngsters, sometimes it don't quite happen for him. But he's proven in the Championship. We did it last year with Cardiff. He brings something to us that I think we need. He's got a bit of pace about him, a bit of power about him. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Gary Rowett puts him into the side, where he plays him, and what he actually asks him to do. So we've got to remember, as usual with transfer markets, we all look at the last day, but he done quite a bit of business early on.
He did.
Gary, and I must admit, I've been quite impressed with more or less all the guys. Well, in all of them, in fact, from what I've seen of them, I think we've got a little star in Ballard coming along. But I'm quite pleased. I'm really looking forward to Saturday and West Brom.
Stan, where do you see Ojo fitting into the team? What have you had time to think about this?
Well, I would imagine. If they're not going to play him wide, and I wouldn't have thought they'd be doing that. The only thing I can see him doing is taking one of the two berths up front. So my view would be that you'd probably play him up. If it was me, and I don't know a lot about this kid, I have to say, but I would probably put him up front with a Phobie. That would be my view.
Interesting.
But because that's what that's what we need up front is pace. That's and if this kid's got the pace that I'm being told that he's got, well then he don't need to be sitting on some bench somewhere. He needs to be on the field doing the business. So and like Ted, I'm quite happy with what's happened in the transfer market from our point of view.
Jeff, I think this is a good point to bring you in. Because you obviously laid the foundations for our last push into the top flight. Has Gary Rowett laid those foundations with the signings that he's made over the summer, and potentially? Well, I think his hand was probably forced with Mahlon leaving, but because from my point of view, I'm sad about Mahlon leaving for a number of different reasons, but one of the biggest ones in terms of the playing aspect of that is that we are now short at right back. And whatever people were saying, he had a brilliant game against Portsmouth and he definitely could have done a job there. And I don't know, I wasn't convinced, Ted, actually, by Danny Mack on the opening day of the season against QPR. Him and Jed Royce didn't seem like they've really gelled so far, but that's my opinion. Jeff, what do you think?
I think as to whether he's built a team capable of getting promoted into the Premier League, I do think the jury's out on that. When we did it in 1988, most of our fans didn't believe it until the last month, when it became clearer. So I think I'm not going to speculate on whether we've done it or not. I do think, although we'd won a game when the international break came, I do think it's been good because we did have a number of players nursing injuries that weren't that long term, but it's given them a chance. You mentioned George Saville earlier not being in the Northern Ireland squad. On Wednesday night, he came on in the 76th minute as a substitute. Well, any championship regular, with all due respect, can get in the Northern Ireland team. So that tells me that he's not been fit, not 100% fit. That might explain his slightly indifferent start to the season. He hasn't been fantastic. He's done okay. He's scored a goal. But the likes of him and Mason Bennett and Ryan Leonard, if they've come back and they're available, if not for Saturday, then for the midweek game and then the next home game, which is going to be crucial to see what happens there, I think that's the biggest plus I've seen over the last couple of weeks, because there is a sense, I believe, that the team and the crowd are not united with each other at the moment. And the brilliant job of work, whatever else you think about him, that Neil Harris did, he took over from Holloway at a time when the crowd and the team were not on the same wavelength, and he created that. And I don't think it's clear yet that we've got that situation back. And we need 3 points out the next 2 games, and then a really good performance against Coventry. And those things are a lot to wish for. You mentioned about Sheyi Ojo. I can't see that we've signed him to play in a 3-5-2. Fans raised it, play him up front. I don't think he is a front player, I don't know, but he played wide for Cardiff, he played wide for Liverpool. I can't see him as left wing back. Not that he'd get past the incumbent anyway. I just wonder whether there's a possible change of formation coming, because he did get Conor Mahoney onto the pitch in the last game. So who knows? There's a lot to see on Saturday and Tuesday. We'll see what goes on.
What about in a position of right wing back, Jeff?
I think.
I admit one thing: he's more of an attacking player than he's a defensive player, but I'm not sure that he wouldn't fit in there in that position.
I'm sure he wouldn't, because your wing backs have to be good defensively. You know, your wing backs were full backs first, and then allowed to play as a wing back because we took up a back three. You don't see successful wingers. You don't see Jack Grealish going and playing left wing back, do you?
No, but there is players about like Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think's fine going forward, but I wouldn't trust him defensive wise personally.
Well, I would personally. I think.
Well, I think Scott Malone's better going forward than he is defensive, but that's just my opinion.
He's never been a left winger though. He's a left back that's found his feet as a left wing back. It's not like a left winger that's gone back there.
I'm not saying he will, but it may be unusual because, as we've all saying, we know he's a more attacking player than he is a defensive player. But I'm just thinking on Saturday with Danny Mack being out, and will we play Billy Mitchell there? Probably the favourite to go there, and it'd be interesting if he does. In that case, coming back to your point, Jeff, where OG fits in the side from there.
I'm not expecting. I mean, if Ryan Leonard's fit, he'll play him as a right wing back or something like that.
Just before we need to move on, gents, I think you've hit the nail on the head right there. We're talking about sticking Ryan Leonard at right back. So all those people that are dancing on Mahlon Romeo's grave maybe need to think on a bit more about the types of players and who we need if we do want to make that step up. But anyway, there we go. That's probably just the end of my little rant. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your input. Before we break, you may remember that in 2021, Lions fan Dean Brown and Steve Rendell were set to run the Landmarks half marathon in aid of the MPS Society, who represent people who have the same condition as Harvey Brown. Dean and Steve's intention is to do the run prior to the Sky Bet Championship fixture at home to Coventry City on Saturday. the 18th of September. Apologies. With the duo plus Harvey walking around the perimeter of the pitch at half-time to complete their goal. You can, if you're able to, make donations on Just Giving. Just put Just Giving Dean Brown 20. That's Just Giving Dean Brown 20 into your browser, and it should come up. Donations are welcome no matter how large or small, and will be gratefully received. We're going to take a break there and listen to Bethany Warren talking about Sands United. I'm Henry Morgan. I'm back with the No One Likes Us talking team of Jeff Burnige, Ted Robinson and Stan Godwin. Sands United have helped few Millwall fans, and one of them told us about how he lost 2 children, one at birth and one at 6 weeks, which I've got to be honest, now having had my own child, I can't really imagine. And Sands United really made a difference for him. So if you can, please do support them.
We know that some men can struggle to talk about how they're feeling after the death of a baby. We hope that by building trust and a common bond, by playing together as a team, many more will be able to break their silence about baby loss and help others to do the same. Sands United FC has already saved the lives of men left feeling like they had no one to turn to in their grief. Are you a father who has lost a child? Talk to Sands United. They will help. Contact them on sufclondon@gmail.com. That's sufclondon@gmail.com. They will help.
Our first guest is from Islington, North London, and played his football as a forward. He came through the youth ranks at Millwall and signed his pro contract on his 17th birthday in 2010. He had a baptism of fire in his debut when coming on as a substitute in an EFL League Cup tie that Millwall lost by 5-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers in September 2011. Don't I remember it? During his time in the Lions, he gained caps with the Republic of Ireland at under 17, 19 and 21 levels and gained full international honours too. At each level, he scored goals. At the end of the 2019-20 season, he was released by the Lions, having made 226 appearances, warmed the bench on a further 42 occasions and scored 44 goals. He now plies his trade with the famous side Sunderland. With no more ado, let's welcome the one and only Aiden O'Brien to the show. Aiden, hello.
Hello, mate.
Aiden.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes, sorry, but Stan's just jumping in to welcome you to the show at the same time that you were saying hello. So,
Hello, Aiden. This is Jeff. Nice to hear you.
Nice to hear from you too, mate.
Hello, Aiden. It's Ted here, mate. I just thought I'd let you say hello before them 2 Burks come in again.
No, it's all good. Everyone all right? Yeah, everyone okay?
We're fine, mate.
Yeah,
We're fine,
mate.
yeah, very good, mate.
Good.
Probably do with a few of your goals up front, actually, if truth be told. But anyway, there we are. Look, before I let you off to the rest of the panel, Aiden, we have a message from Sean Daly, Chief Executive of the Millwall Community Trust.
Sean, we know Aiden O'Brien was held in very high esteem by the Millwall Community Trust, but can you share the reasons why with the listeners?
Yeah, no problem, Eamon. Aiden was very much part of the Community Trust when he was here at the club. We run a alternative provision project, which I think I've spoke to everyone about this before. It's a project where it's for young children, young people that have been excluded from school. And it could be anything they're excluded from school from. It could be school's just not for them. There might be some bullying, there might be gang affiliation, they just can't keep up with their education. And what schools do is they place them with outside agencies. And Lewisham and Southwark place some of their young people with us here at the Lions Centre. And those young people think sometimes it's, they're never going to get back into school environment, and they're the only people that have ever experienced anything like this, being excluded from school. Well, Aiden came a lot down and helped my staff and came and supported those young people and talked about his own experiences of being excluded from school or being on the verge of exclusion, and about his background. And the children could relate to that. And he spent a lot of his time trying to help those young people get back into school, get back into college or have like a future. But he spent a lot of time with those young people and my staff trying to do that, supporting that.
So really, really the man for the job without a doubt.
Yeah, I think what he done was, it's very difficult for those young people to talk to someone who hasn't experienced that. And Aiden came with his own experiences and showed them that, with hard work, dedication, he became a professional footballer. But he always said he wanted to give back to the community, and I'm sure up at Sunderland he's probably doing the same sort of things that he done down here.
Wouldn't be surprising. Thanks for that, Sean, and we'll pass that on to Aiden this evening.
Excellent. Cheers, Eamon.
Sean, bye now.
Bye.
I think it's quite clear you've definitely made an impression when working in the community around Millwall, Aiden.
Yeah.
What was it that made you commit yourself to working hard with those youngsters? Was it, as he mentioned, something from your own experience, or what was that? Yeah, tell us about it.
First of all, that was nice words from Sean there. So I appreciate that, Sean. But basically, it was just, I could kind of, as he said it in the message, I can sort of relate where they were coming from. So it was quite easy for me to kind of understand and explain to them and kind of sit in their kind of shoes kind of thing. And it was quite easy for me to get through to them. They kind of listened because they see I was there and they see I've gone through it and I made it out the other side. So it was quite easy for me to get through to them. And it was quite warming for me as well to try and help people that, might be going down that wrong route, which I could have easily took. And it was quite nice for me it gave me a bit of a warming sensation when I was doing it as well. So I used to enjoy it as much as obviously Sean and the guys needed me to come down. I actually enjoyed it myself. It was good.
Aiden, it's Jeff Burnige here. It's, as I said earlier, it's really, really good to speak to you again. You are much missed. Obviously, the first year you missed, we wouldn't have missed you on the field because we weren't at the games. An interesting time to be transferred. But before we go any further, I've got to mention what you did in the week. I mean, a hat-trick at Bloomfield Road to see off Blackpool in the Carabao Cup. When was the last time you ever scored 3 in a game? Did you ever score 3 for Millwall?
That was Crew away, wasn't it?
I wonder if you'd remember. I thought you probably would.
Of course I do. The ball's right in front of me, mate. Listen, I'm just fortunate to get 2 hat tricks now in my career, and I'm, nowhere near ending my career yet. So hopefully I can get loads more.
Well, I'm sure you will. And what Sean's just told us about the work you did at the Community Trust, of course, you're not on the field of play for everyone to see it. It's something that's done behind the scenes. And, you've proved that from being at the club since you were 16, if not before,
15, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to come through and become a player that can score 44 goals for the club, I just want to congratulate you on your Millwall career and hope that you do very, very well at Sunderland and get back in the Republic of Ireland squad. They obviously have trouble scoring goals, that, so you're the man.
Well, don't tell me, mate. I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that, honestly. I enjoyed every minute at Millwall, just so you all know. I enjoyed every minute and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Aiden, it's Ted here, mate. I was just thinking to myself, I'm sure you thoroughly enjoyed that hat-trick, but it's nothing like scoring the winner for Millwall in the last minute, is it? I bet you never jumped up into the terracing the other night, did you?
No, I'll be honest, mate.
That Bury game.
That Bury game, I don't think that can be topped. I don't know.
I tried to run myself through your mind when that happened, because apart from the fact you didn't seem to know really where to go, you did sort of finish up with
As you can see, if you see the video back, I literally run one way and then I run the other way, and I just kind of lose myself, really. It's just, mate, them moments are what you live for in football, honestly.
You see that video, and the stewards don't seem to know what's happening. The police are running in the wrong direction. It was a Millwall moment for me.
I'm in the middle of the fans with my hands in the air.
I know. It's
unbelievable.
Absolutely brilliant, mate. But tell us about how you originally come to join Millwall, Aiden.
Yeah, so playing with, local teams in and around Islington. A place called Market Road. And
see, that's what's strange. You're the wrong side of the water, but carry on.
Yeah, so basically this what happened is I've got my dad set up his own team and playing for them, and I'm like banging in goals. And at Market Road, it's like an AstroTurf league. It's quite popular at the time. A few players did come from there, to be fair. But and I was playing one game, and my dad said to me, "Look, do me a favour, Aiden. There's someone coming to watch you today, but don't change your game. So I was like, I was only, 15? And he was like, right, just don't change your game, but I just feel like I need to tell you. So I was like, okay, no problem. Anyway, that game I scored 3, and we won 3-0. So there was a guy called Gary Northover. I don't know if you've heard the name. I'll never forget the name, because he was the guy that got me into Millwall. Whether he was a scout, whether he knew someone that knew Millwall, I'm not sure how it happened. I don't really know the ins and outs, but he was the guy that kick-started everything and got me, that sort of trial with Millwall. And that was at 15. And I remember my first game on trial at Millwall, it was against Watford, at Watford's training ground. And I actually scored on my debut. And that was it, really. Just kind of kicked on from there, mate.
Well, you've certainly got a knack of scoring, mate.
Yeah, who actually signed you then?
At the time, it was for the under 15s. There was a manager called Dave. Not Dave Livermore, of course, but it was a small dark-haired fella. I don't actually know his second name, but it was Dave at the time.
I can tell you about Gary Northover. He scouted for Millwall for many years. He's a Millwall fan. He comes from Poplar.
Yes.
Bethnal Green, round.
So he was a scout. He was a scout.
He was a scout. Yeah.
And he was the one.
Very well thought of. Even in my time, we're going back a long way. He brought certain other players to.
So he's got to take credit for bringing me to the club.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, and he did scout Market Road. We spent a lot of time on that AstroTurf at Market Road in Islington, because
there's some real good quality there, weren't there?
There was. We did get other players out of there. I can't think of anybody else that made the first team, but give me a few weeks. I'll try and think of one.
Yeah.
But we did scout Market Road. It's I remember it's got a bank behind one goal, hasn't it? A great big banking.
Yes.
I went there many a time.
No, it was good quality, and so thanks to Gary Northover. That was the start of the Millwall career, really.
Aiden, it's Stan here, mate. I've been looking forward to talking with you. Tell us about the young Lions that you came through the ranks with, and do you still keep in touch with any of them today, mate?
Well, where do I start? So many. Well, we've got Sid Nelson, obviously. We've got Ben Thompson. We've got John Marquez. We've got, remember Kieran Hughes Mason. Omar Beckles, he's at Leyton Orient now. We've got so many players that I come through with that probably ain't playing now, but a few are, which I just mentioned. Them boys are still are playing, and honestly, like my youth team, the reserve team, the boys were all class, mate. Honestly, all class. I used to be a year below John Marquez, and he used to be banging in goals and reserves. So I couldn't get a sniff in the reserves at the time because he was doing so well. So I had to wait my time. And
was Alfie Pavey with you?
No, Alfie wasn't with me. No.
I'll tell you who it was, Aiden. It was Connor Wilkinson.
Connor joined when I was in the 18s, I think it was. Yeah. And then, but any time below that, the only people below that was Sid, Ben Thompson, and John Marquez, and that age group. The Kieran Mason, John Marquez, that age group.
What you'll have to do, Aiden, is when you play against Portsmouth, ask Lee Johnson if you can mark John Marquez from a corner.
Yeah, that'll get a bit naughty.
And you can say stop him from scoring. I mean, bless him, he's certainly been quite prolific in League One and that, hasn't he?
No, he's a good player, mate. He's always been a good player. He knows what he's good at, and he uses his abilities. That's why he's such a good player. He don't complicate things.
He's not quite as good as you, though, mate, is he?
Nah, well, no.
I'll tell you what, Aiden, you sound so much more chilled out. It must be that northern air. I mean, you was always a live boy when you come on our show before, but you seem to be chilled and relaxed. Life must be good up in Durham.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, the lifestyle, northern lifestyle is so much. It's like so much chilled than London lifestyle. You get so much time to just breathe, when you're in London, there's so much going on. There's family, there's friends, there's this, there's that. It's just the rat race, really, ain't it? Let's be honest. And it's just been refreshing. I've been here for a year now, and I've picked the best city basically to live in, and that's Durham, because it is literally the best city I've lived in since being in this world. So I've made a good decision there.
Well, so did Sunderland. You've joined a great club. I mean, a great club, quite possibly on their way back up now. But I'd like to know more about the managers that you played under at the Den. How do you remember them, either kindly or not? But be careful what you say if it's not.
Yeah, always. Well, I think I had 6. I think I had 6 managers. I can go through them quickly. It was obviously Kenny Jackett, which was the main man that's basically gave me my first ever pro and gave me my first game. That was what you mentioned against Wolves, the 5-0 defeat. Let's not go into that. Kenny Jackett, so yeah, legend. And then there was, I think after that, it might have been, I'm trying to think who was after that. Was it Ian Holloway or Steve Lomas? Who was before who? I'm not sure who was before who.
Lomas followed in Kenny Jackett, Aiden.
Was it Lomas after KJ?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so then Lomas didn't really get on with him. Like, it was like, didn't really have a relationship with him, kind of thing. So don't really have much to say there. Then it was Ian Holloway, absolute legend. He used to come into training every morning and just be bouncing around the training ground, like shouting, laughing, making jokes, and like the boys all found him like funny, and that he was a good guy. So he played me a bit as well. So hats off to him. And then obviously Neil Harris, which I can't speak highly of enough. He played me basically game after game after game, 200 games plus, and he got the best out of me. And he decided on his own back to play me left mid, which I've never ever played left mid before, which was a bit of a weird one for me, as you could probably all tell. I've never played left mid. I've always played up top. I am a striker till this day. But he found something out. He found a position where I could probably slot in and do a job and score goals. And fair play to Neil Harris for kind of, spotting that, really, because I never have thought I would have been a left mid or playing left mid. Never would have dreamed of it. So Neil Harris has been the most influence on my career, really, so far. And then obviously you had Rowett, who's the current, which I feel like I don't really want to go into much detail, but I don't know if I've got a chance there under him, to be honest. But let's just not go into that.
We'll move on from that, Aiden. I'll tell you what, as you're up in playing for Sunderland at the moment, don't forget to mention 2004 FA Cup semi-final now and again. just to keep them on their toes, mate. Listen, Aiden, you featured in as a sub in our League One playoff final in 2016 and started in a 2017 final. What's your memories of them 2 games, mate?
Well, obviously the first one we lost. I can't remember that one myself. Oh, mate, I know we won the next year, but the pain from that first year gave us the fight to win that next year. I know it sounds cringy, but like the feeling of laying down on that pitch, knowing that the other team's running around screaming that they've won, it's just the most painful thing ever in a football shirt. All of us are just gutted, and then we're thinking we've got all this way, all this time, all this hard work to just lose in the last seconds, kind of thing. And so we just gave it our all, and then obviously the second year, the Morrison winner, unbelievable. The scenes, I could just see it now. The crowd, the Millwall fans, just mate. I can imagine if any of you were there, the scenes in that crowd would have been just crazy, wouldn't it? But yeah, it was unbelievable. I think we flew straight to Marbs the same day. Or the next day.
Yeah.
Bit of inside information. Yeah, I think we got into the change room, man, and someone went, "Who's going Marbs in?" And then we just started booking it straight away. Oh, mate, it was unbelievable, mate. It's unbelievable. Best day ever. Best day of my life.
The beauty of the celebrations for that, Aiden, I mean this sincerely, was that as happy as we was as fans, I could see it meant just as much to the players. Every player on that pitch was as happy as any fan that was out on the seating. You know, it just.
Oh, of course,
I think we all come together after the pain of the year before. I think without a doubt.
Exactly, mate. We all felt that the year before, didn't we? Not just the players. It went all the way down to the core, really, the fans, everyone involved with the club. Everyone felt that kind of defeat, and then, you know, to win at the same destination at Wembley as well was just so sweet, wasn't it? It's just so sweet.
Mind you, though, I mean, it's in many respects it was an action replay, because when we went to their first playoff final in 2009. And Gary Alexander scored the wonder goal. Yeah. And we thought, well, this is it. We're up and running. We lose that one 3-2. And all the things you said, Aiden, about how you felt on the 2016 one, they'd gone through. And because then the following year we get back and did it in exactly the same again. You know, in 2010 we won it, and then again in 16 and 17. So it's a bit of an action replay. I mean, but I understand what you mean, because sometimes it is true. Because I remember when we lost in 2009, and we was away the following season, and we was playing against Orient, and ended up losing the game. But it was, you just knew that we were going to win it that day. It was like an hangover, but eventually it all come good, and that was it. But another question I want to ask you is, in gaining your caps for Ireland, you scored all levels. And that goal you scored on your full international debut against Poland, we could have done with you last night, mate. Earned by the FAI International Goal of the Year in 2018. Can you describe what happened?
Well, a ball come in a box and I banged it in.
That do for me.
Basically, to be honest, mate, bit of a story to this one. I didn't have a clue I was starting. So Martin O'Neill used to say his team literally an hour or two before the game. So we all used to have to just prepare as if we're starting, kind of thing. No one actually knew. So I'm sitting in the meeting room, and he's reading out the team before we leave to get escorted to the ground, and he's named the team, and I'm the lone striker. So I'm sitting in my chair going, like, basically screaming inside, going, oh my god, I am the number 9 tonight. So I'm calling family, everything happening, blah blah. And then I only go and score on my debut, and if you watch the video back, I think the boys even said it as well, like, are you crying on the pitch? So I ended up like shedding a little tear when I scored, because it was that emotional. It was actually, mate, I don't know what's better, that moment or the promotion with Mill. I still don't know till this day.
The last minute winner against Bury.
Nah, listen, that's got to be third in the list of them two. Because honestly,
I was watching that game when you played for Ireland. I think it was your debut for the full team, wasn't it?
Which one? The Poland game?
The Poland game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, listen, mate, you can't deny it. We all know you were crying. Any of us that were watching that game,
I had a little tear. Yeah, the boys were running up to me, going, "Are you crying? Are you crying?" I was like, "No, boys, I'm not."
The problem is, you started me off. I was crying.
It was so good, man. But then we ended up drawing the game, which was a bit of a ball ache, because it would have been nice, O'Brien scored the winner and to win the game, but it wasn't to be, and it was just it was brilliant. It was brilliant, mate. Honestly, them moments you can't take away. They'll live for you forever.
I'll tell you what, Aiden, just a quick question. I was just thinking to myself, you know, like you're saying there, you scored on your debut for Ireland and you class yourself as a forward and a natural sort of centre forward, if you like. Do you think you ever really got a real crack as a centre forward at Millwall?
Yeah.
Nah, never really a real crack. No, let's be honest.
No, I can't.
Whenever I did play centre forward, it was a couple games here, couple games there. It weren't never a season, you know. And a real crack really is you know, you want at least minimum 10 games on the run up top. Minimum. That's like minimum. But I knew at the time there was good experienced strikers around me, like Morrison, like Gregory, like Mill's always had like good names, you know. He even had like Keogh, Henderson and Easter and, you know, Scott McDonald and, you know, all these guys that are actually good strikers. So it was kind of a thing where I had to bide my time, my whole time at Mill, and go like and kind of go like, you know what, like, you know, not much you can do here, kind of thing. But as I said, I kind of made left mid kind of mine in a way, and I kind of made it. I kind of adapted as I you know, as I went on, and I kind of made sure that I kind of understood the positioning and the positioning and how to play the role, because it was all foreign to me. I don't know if you all know that, but I've never played there. It was all foreign to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. You're answering your question. I don't think I ever really got a real shot up top. No.
Well, you certainly done well out the wide, mate. You scored plenty of goals from there. Like you know, we admire, as you know, someone that will just put the effort in. And I know you was in an unfamiliar position, but I think I speak for all the lads when we know you always give it 110%, mate. So you always be remembered for that.
No, I appreciate it, mate.
Definitely.
I just adding to what Ted said, Aiden, I think, yeah, I agree with you. You never got that chance up top, but for me, you were the best finisher out of Morrow, out of Greg's. And I always saw that, and I always thought, actually, if you got your chance to go in the box, you would have scored probably 20 plus goals in that division. But that's obviously just a personal opinion. But
that's the key point. What you just said there is what football. That is football down to a T. Personal opinions. So everyone's got their personal opinions on different players, different, you know, different situations, different formations. And if that personal opinion doesn't fit you, I'm sorry, but that's just not how it's not gonna go your way, is it?
Yeah.
And at the time, that people's personal opinions on me, I wasn't number one striker, which I believe at the time as well. I wasn't, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest about it. You know, you had Morrison, you had Gregory, which were firing. They were unbelievable. But I still believe there was some ways of maybe giving me a fair crack up top. Not with, I just mean in any time in my career at Mill. Just, well, it weren't meant to be. So
I understand. I mean, I understand how you feel there, Aiden, because you see, I held exactly the same view, right? Yeah. With John Marquis. I mean, I had real sympathy for him because he'd come on in one game. I mean, I think the first game he ever played, he was about 17, and they put him up front on his own. I mean, and then which he did okay, and yet the following week again in the team. And I thought, and it was like that. And I noticed when he went out on loan, and he got regular games, and he played with two rather than one, he was banging them in. But I personally never felt he got a proper chance at Millwall. That's my honest opinion.
Well, there's another one then, yeah. I probably agree with you there as well. I've got
to be honest, Aiden, neither did I. I never really got a chance at Millwall. But that was probably because I weren't good enough. No, that's the trouble. Nobody had to tell me that. I knew.
Nah, it's all right.
Well, look, there's so much we could ask you. We're blessed to have you with us for a good period of time, you know, and I think all the fans would definitely echo everything that's been expressed by us this evening. So you're going to have to you'll have to come back again and give us some more of these stories.
Of course, mate.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back on. Before you go, could you give us a prediction for our away trip to West Bromwich Albion this Saturday?
Oof.
Be kind.
Yeah, of course, mate. Always. I'm gonna say 2-1 Millwall.
Yes.
I think they'll score. because they've got quality. But I think we'll score 2. So
I think that fresh air in Durham's got to your head, mate. But never mind.
Nah, mate. Listen, give me a text when it's 2-1, and then just say,
2-1. Yeah.
Fair play. Fair play.
Aiden, I'm going to quote you. What you just said was, "I think we will score 2." You used the word.
Whoa,
we.
listen.
You used the word "we." That's good enough for me, mate. Good enough for me.
Listen, it's been 11 years at that club.
It's true, yeah. Look, thanks for joining us. All the best to you and Sunderland this season. We might see you back at the Den next season for a league fixture. But we've got to say bye for now, mate. Good luck with the rest of it. It's been great talking to you.
Let's hope
Legends,
it's not in
mate.
the FA Cup semi-final, Aiden.
Hey, I'll see you guys real soon.
Cheerio, Aiden.
Cheers,
Lovely
Aiden.
speaking to you. Brilliant.
Yeah,
You too,
cheers,
guys.
Aiden.
Yeah, have a good evening.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
We'll take a break there and listen to the man that can walk for miles, sing so many soul songs, goes everywhere with Millwall and even to Grimsby on a Tuesday night. I think he wrote that. Yeah. Here is Barry Stradling.
Hello, my name's Barry Stradling. I'm a Millwall fan all my entire life. I'm doing the London Memory Walk to try and raise some money for the Alzheimer's Society. I'm doing this because I've got close friends with Alzheimer's and I've got a family relation with Alzheimer's. So if you could help me out by going to justgiving.com, fundraising Barry Stradling, and try and raise as much money as possible. If you can donate some money and also share the link to people to try and get everyone involved in this to try and help people suffer from Alzheimer's.
I'm Henry Morgan, and I'm back with the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Ted Robinson, Stan Godwin. Helping to find a way to deal with Alzheimer's is a great cause to support, and I think we all need to make sure that we are donating as much as we can. Next up, we hear from Elise Barr.
Alice here. Thank you for watching my videos. Now to hear what the Millwall Lionesses and Romans have been up to, and to hear who is next up for Gary Rowett and the Lions. Come on, Millwall!
Millwall Romans and their second team, Millwall Pride, see their season start next weekend. Eamon caught up with managers Paul Loding and Andy Dolan.
Here we are at St Paul's Sports Ground where the Millwall Romans, Millwall Pride, Millwall Lionesses and their academy all train and play their home fixtures. Its backdrop is the wonderful Canary Wharf that just fills the sky to the north of the ground. But training is over tonight, and with me is Paul Loding, the manager of the Millwall Romans, and Andy Dolan, the manager of Millwall Pride, the second side under the banner of Millwall. Paul, 2 teams this season, Romans and Pride. Both ready for the start of the season this forthcoming weekend?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's been it's great that we can actually enter 2 teams this year. It's the first time since I've been playing for Romans in for 10 years now that we've managed to get 2 teams out. I think when we first joined with Millwall in June, July last year, that it was obvious that we needed to accommodate for more players, and it's great that we can actually now enter 2 teams and raring to go.
And both in the same league?
Absolutely, yep, both in the same league.
That's fantastic. Andy, what's your ambitions leading the Millwall Pride team out this season?
Right now, mate, it's get 11 people onto the pitch.
That's always a bonus, yeah.
Yeah. You know, we're looking good, actually, to be fair, going in for now. But I said I was well up for it, and I'd be here to help out because we've got all the foundation, you know, the pitch and the kits and the support from the club. If we don't try and do it now, I don't think we ever will. So, but it's easier said than done. Now the reality is hitting me, and I've got a few more lines in my face, you know. I'm going to be ringing you up and asking you to do a game at centre-back here, Eamon. So,
oh, yeah, you'll be all right. You can have a 22-stone centre-back, you'll be all right. Yeah.
Any of your listeners interested in playing, get them down to training on Wednesdays.
We will do. It'll be a good consolidation season then.
I'm going to say more seriously, I guess, the idea with the second team is just expand it, to keep it inclusive. That's the idea, is to make sure everybody gets some time on the pitch.
Yeah, there's nothing worse sitting on a long bench and not getting up and playing a game of football. Paul, first game this weekend. Who have you got coming up, and where and when?
So we're the earlier kickoff this Sunday. We're playing at Market Street in North London against Stonewall Thirds. Now they're always a bit of a bogey team for us. They do like to be quite competitive with us, so they do like to pick players from their first and second team. It's not going to be an easy start at all. We're raring to go. We've got a few injuries, but I'm still confident that we'll come back with the 3 points.
That'll be good if you can. Defending champions, you've got to start off as you want to finish. No doubt about that one. Andy, who do you face, where and when?
We'll be playing London Titans, afternoon kickoff, 3:15 at St Paul's in Rotherhithe. Titans is one of the largest LGBT-friendly teams in London. They're based down in Clapham. I think they usually put out 2 or 3 teams each year. It'll be a good occasion and a nice way to start.
Yeah, wonderful. 3 p.m. on Sunday. Don't forget, all get down there and you can see the Millwall Pride team in action. So that's great stuff. I look forward to the reports next week and looking ahead to what's coming up next for you both. We'll keep in touch. All the best for the weekend. As they say it these days, smash it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Eamon.
Cheers, Eamon.
Cheers, guys.
Millwall Lionesses played against Aylesford on Sunday in the London and South East Regional Women's Football League Premier Division. Jeff Burnige was there to see the match. Tell us what happened, Jeff.
Last Sunday, the Lionesses travelled to Chatham to face Aylesford in their second league match in the Regional Premier Division. Despite leading 1-0 and 2-1, we eventually lost the game 3-2. We had taken the lead with defender Maya Graham's first goal for the club, and it was 1-1 at half-time. But we regained the lead when new young striker Ellie Hinckley pressurised the goalkeeper into a mistake and scored from close range. Aylesford finished the match the stronger, despite several good saves from our keeper Millie Carter. There is no match this Sunday because we have a bye in the FA Cup, but next Sunday, the 19th, we are back at St Paul's for our home league game with New London Lionesses, a club not to be confused with the one that broke away from Millwall in 2019. Unusually for clubs at our level, admission to this match is free and all Millwall fans are welcome. The girls would greatly value your support.
So, Jeff, talk us through the game. What Lionesses this season obviously lost a decent striker at the end of last year. Is that maybe tempering their ability to maybe win a few games this year? What do you think?
We had 2 very good strikers last season, both of whom are playing at a higher level this year. So that shows you the standard we had. So we've had to rebuild the squad at the same time as moving into a much more difficult division. So we're going to need all the support we can get. I have noticed that when the fans were there a year or 2 ago, it really did lift the girls. So Sunday week, 2 o'clock at St Paul's against New London. That will not be an easy game. Any supporters that can come down there will be very welcome indeed, and it is free. Bring the family.
Stan, thoughts on Lionesses and the fact that Millwall now have two teams, the Romans and Pride?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the Lionesses. I think they'll do reasonably well. I mean, okay, they might be getting off to a bit of a slow start at the moment. But, because they've gone up a couple of gears, so they're going to have to adjust and whatever. But I think my personal view is that come the end of the season, there will be, well, they'll be secured. It'd be a case of, getting to somewhere, taking stock where you are and then go on from
consolidating this year and trying to kick on next year, something like that.
That's right. Yeah. Right. And as for the two other teams, it's brilliant. But last season, the first team done well. I say that because we now got the two, and they ended up as the champions. And as somebody said, that they're going to be defending their title. And as for the second team, Millwall Pride, they're going to be. They're going to be exploring, if that's the right word, to see how they get on. I mean, obviously they're going to go out and want to win the games, but no. Personally, I think it's exciting, and I think at the end of the day, all three teams will have acquitted themselves really well. That's my view.
Ted, what do you think? Lionesses and Romans, can the Romans go back to back, if you like, victory championships? And do you think it is just a case of the second team trying to bed themselves in?
Yeah, of course. I mean, what stands out to me with both the Romans and the Lionesses for this season, in a sense, is growth. Be stronger in depth, I suppose, is way. We all know the Lionesses got a young team, young girls, and Stan quite rightly pointed out, is a higher league this time, and it take a bit of time settling in and settling down. But as I think I said the other week, they should see it as a challenge for themselves, and the challenge is to each week get better, get better performances under their belt, become stronger as the season goes on, and grow into a side, And I think you could say the same for the Pride, and obviously the Romans themselves have got the challenge of back to backs, if you know what I mean, for winning the league again. So I see. I say for both of them this year, the most important thing out of it is growth. That they grow as teams, themselves, and become stronger for the following season.
This is a concern, Henry. One big plus point is that we do have our academy, under 14, under 16 teams. They both did well last season. The under 14s played in a pre-season tournament last week and got to the final without conceding a single goal. They lost 1-0 in the final. I'm not sure about that. And this season we've been able to start an under 18 team because the Community Trust has started a post-16 academy for girls. Now, I don't know how that's going to go. They weren't all picked for their footballing ability because it's got a big educational element. I don't think they'll be playing in a very, very big league, so I think there'll only be a few fixtures, but it's a very good sign that we've now got the ability to provide a pathway into first-team football for girls from our under 14s and 16s.
Big things hopefully on the horizon over the next few years for the Lionesses, a season of consolidation maybe, and then kicking on next year, and certainly for the Romans to see if they can go from strength to strength. Welcome to View from the Opposition this evening, brought to you by no opposition, just myself. For the second week in a row, we've been unable to get one of the podcasts from West Brom, or indeed a West Brom fan, to come and join us on the show. So I'm going to give us a quick breakdown before we play them this weekend at the Hawthorns. West Brom with an average squad value of £72 million, slightly more than our team are worth in monetary value anyway. Currently sits second in the table, played 5, won 4, drawn 1, have yet to lose a game this season in the league. Goals for 12, goals against 5, and 13 points, sitting in second, with Fulham the only team above them, obviously on a slightly better goal difference. It's going to be a tough trip to the West Midlands this weekend. There can be no doubt about that, playing a team with such calibre, who are widely tipped to make the quick return to the Premier League this year. And essentially, I think Millwall are just going to have to try and battle their way through this and try and match them on the pitch. This is the Championship. Anything can happen, but we can be in no doubt that essentially we are playing one of the two favourites for the league this season. And if you speak to anyone in analytics, they will tell you that based on their GX, West Brom and Fulham are far and away the two best teams in the division. So good luck for this weekend. Let's get the panel's thoughts on how we might get on. Well, you've heard that, gents. What do we reckon, Stan?
Well, I mean, West Brom's going to be a tough game. No question about that. And you know, and the pre-season predictions was going to be that they would be one of the contenders for promotion. And I, with the best will in the world, I don't think anybody can disagree with that. Although I accept it's a long season and anything can happen, but you know, they've got to be penciled in my opinion, is one of the favourites. And they signed that young, but that midfield player from Barnsley who he was after.
Yes.
They got him. So no, I mean, any kind of result up there is going to be a good result, in my opinion. So it's going to be a tough game. And we'll have to see how it all goes.
Jeff, 1-1 the last time I think we were at the Hawthorns in the league. What do you see Saturday?
I think we should all remember when we look at the league table, we've played 5 games. Most people would have had Fulham and QPR and West Brom as all contenders for the top 6.
Yeah,
we've played all of them. So it has been a tough start. I think we knew that before we even started, you know. Well, now we have another one. West Brom away. That is going to be one tough game. And I shall be very, very happy with any positive result there. But you know what? Sometimes Millwall's teams, they do surprise us. And I am going to be optimistic when I start watching the Twitter feed at 3 o'clock on Saturday tomorrow.
Ted, thoughts of the West Brom game?
Well, these are the sort of games that I think Millwall as a club, as a team, as fans, we love. I love going to sides that are expected to be that up there, expected to beat us on the day, basically. And it's a sort of game that I relish, like, you know. And I see signs against Blackpool that I thought we're beginning to find our feet a bit, and I'm hopeful that the international break's done us a favour in the sense that, you know, hopefully Mason Bennett might be fit, because I think he does bring something different to us up front. Hopefully Sheyi Ojo comes in and you know, stars a bit, if you like to put it that way. We're solid, you know. I mean, the one that we are, I think, still missing, but I'd love to see come back is Hutch. But you know, we got a star in the making in Daniel Ballard, in my opinion. You know, scored a goal for Northern Ireland in the week. So I'm optimistic, Emery, that we may well just surprise West Brom. I've watched a few of West Brom's game, and you know, they are a good side. They have got quality players, but I also think they can be a little bit vulnerable. You know, I'm not sure that at this moment in time they're really firing, although they've, you know, got a fair record at the moment and obviously sitting second in the league. But what I'm saying is I don't think they're a Fulham, who I thought was outstanding when they played us. And I think if Rarick gets the tactics right, we could well spring a surprise on Saturday.
I think, I agree with all that's been said, to be honest. I think probably West Brom and Fulham, for me, are probably two of the teams that are gone. I just can't see how they're not, with the talent and the money that they've got coming down. I think Gary Rowett's mentioned it in a few of his press conferences as well. But we do, like as you quite rightly say, Ted, we do love these back to the walls games where we need to come out fighting and show some real Millwall spirit. And I think the last time we were at the Hawthorns, you know, we clawed our way back into the game with 70 minutes gone, and you know, we end up grabbing an equaliser through Matt Smith. So if we can get 4 points out of the next 2 games, then we've done exceptionally well. and I think it's a big ask, but we could do it.
I think we're a battling team, though, Henry. I think the Championship's a battle most games and whatever, but we are a battling team, and I think hopefully, I know Jeff said earlier, I think it was about George Saville. Hopefully he's coming back into form, slowly playing his way in. I mean, Gary Rowett mentioned at the end of last time about there's a few players within the side that are not really up to speed. This is what I was saying about the 2-week break that they've had, up to speed because of COVID that they'd had earlier in the thing. So hopefully them players are up to speed. And I think if we're on our game, we can shock West Brom.
Yeah.
Well, my colleagues have cheered me up there, Henry. I'm a lot more optimistic having heard Ted convince me that we're going to go up there and win. So
I didn't say that, did I?
I don't remember Ted saying we're going to win, but anyway.
Well, he near enough did. I mean, that was the big hint there. So when Henry asked us for our forecasts, we'll have to be put our hands on our hearts and say what we really think, won't we?
Well, I'll start us off then. I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw. Stan?
Yeah, I'll settle for a draw. 1-1.
Jeff?
Now, against the odds, get your money on if you can find a bookie to take it. Millwall to win the game. I think
Score?
I think 1-0.
Oh, I love that. And a clean sheet to boot. Ted?
Well, I'm going to go with my mate Aiden, who confidently predicted a 2-1 win to Millwall. So that'll do for me.
Goal scorers, Ted? Goal scorers?
Yeah.
Goal scorers, I know it sounds a thing, but listen, I've been mightily impressed with Benik Afobe so far, and I just think he's going to get better and better. I'm hoping so anyway. So I think Benik's going to get one, and I think the other one might come from someone. Let's have a look. Like, I'll tell you what, why not Daniel Ballard? Finish off his week.
I was thinking that either a Ballard or a Juicy Jake, header. Yeah.
I think they could be a little bit susceptible at corners, West Brom. So let's hope so.
Brilliant. All right. Well, we also have a prediction from Carla Marie Hales, who runs Millwall Home and Away site on Facebook, and she has also gone for the 1-1 draw, same as me. We're going to take a break there, and we'll hear what fantastic fanatics can do with a little bit of help from ourselves.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you can win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
I'm Henry Morgan, and I'm back with the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Stan Godwin and Ted Robinson. It's well worth purchasing items through Fantastic Fanatics website and rewarding the Millwall Community Trust with donations. Our final guest this evening is no stranger to the show or Millwall fans. He has been a Lions fan, man and boy, goalkeeping coach and a prominent sponsor of the club he loves. It's former firefighter and funeral director. Welcome, Dean Wilson.
All right,
Good evening. How are you all? Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Dean.
Evening, Dean.
Evening, how Jeff?
Evening, Dean. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you all?
It's Henry here, mate.
Good evening.
It was great to see your wife, Karen, receive a long service award from John Berylson on the pitch recently. So please pass on our congratulations to Karen from all of us on the show, mate.
I will.
Brilliant.
Yeah, she'll be pleased with that.
Fantastic.
That'll keep her happy for a little while, Dean, won't it?
Well,
yeah. Sorry, mate, it's Ted here.
I think. Alan said, I think it was unexpected that a few of them were going to get trophies. It was actually a trophy from the EFL, not actually the club. I think employees, after 25 years service, get an award from the EFL.
From the EFL?
Pleased with that.
Well, from the EFL, well, tell Millwall to pull their finger out, mate. She should have one from them as well.
Well, I think she should, yeah.
Listen, mate,
we'll wait on that one.
I'm quite pleased the old transfer window's closed, mate, because now you can start getting on with the real serious business, which is the football. But what do you reckon about the acquisitions we've got this season? The likes of Afobe, Ojo, who's just come in, Daniel Ballard.
Yeah.
Malone, obviously, I like the look of the backup keeper, and Saville.
Yeah, I think it's been a good transfer win. As you say, I'm glad that it's closed because, to say the real work starts, they can all start bonding with no worries. Afobe, he's proven at championship level, especially his time with Wolves. Ojo, plenty of championship experience. He's still only 24 years old. He was well thought of at Liverpool by Klopp, but I think he was just, that far off the first team. So I think he'll be good for us. Ballard, highly rated at Arsenal, and a good season. Blackpool last year, gotten promoted, or part of the team that got promoted. And for me, I think he's an old-fashioned centre-half, which Millwall fans will like. Who else we've got there? Scott Malone, as Millwall fans know, we all know what Scott's capable of. I've spoken to him a couple of times this season. He absolutely loves playing for Millwall. And he's one of our highest scorers last season, wasn't he? From left wing back. And let's be fair, it's got that. He doesn't do tap-ins, does he?
He does. He's certainly a dangerous outlet for us. I know he's given the opportunity to get up there with the formation that we play, but he makes the most of it when he gets there.
Yeah, he seems to have a bit of a free rein, doesn't he? And it's you're going to get the odd row Z, but then again you're going to get the odd worldie from him as well, aren't you? With Scott.
Yeah, I've moved to row M since he's got started playing.
Don't blame him. But no, he's a good Millwall player, and as I say, I've spoken to him a couple of times up in the lounge, and he just loves being there. The other one, I think, George Long, very good keeper. He strikes me as someone who's content that he's not to sit on the bench, and I think he'll be pushing Bart all the way, really. And again, I think what's he 26, 27. About the right age for a keeper as well. And I think the last one you mentioned, George Saville. Again, we all know what George Saville's about. Capable of scoring, and on his day, he can run the midfield. So I'm really excited about it.
Dean, Stan here, mate. Great to talk with you again. How's our start to this season surprised you, or was it what you expected?
It was probably about what I expected, to be honest. I mean, the standout team for me that we played against was Fulham. Played us off the park, and I think they're going to do that to a few championship teams this season. So it's nothing to feel guilty or bad about. I think for me, the way it's looking, they'll be championship champions. Cardiff, the Cardiff game, we conceded 3 goals by 3 headers. And the one concern now I think Gary will have is that it is from set pieces, headers, and I don't know, we just don't seem to be able to control crosses into the box at the moment. And with the other games, we had Blackpool, we had 10 men from 15 minutes into the game, but sometimes that's hard. But it was a big win heading into the international break. So, it's not the end of the world where we are. Yes, it could have been a bit better, but no, I'm confident we'll move up.
Dean, this is Jeff. I got a question for you about goalkeepers, which you know something about. But I have to say, you and Karen must be older than you look, because she's done 25 years and she's only 29. That's very strange.
Yes, just straight from nursery.
Yeah, and you claim to have been inspired by Brian King. Now that is going back a bit.
I was, yeah.
So you've seen Brian King, who was guest last week.
Yeah.
You've seen Brian Horn, who we've also had on at times. What are your strongest memories of those two, starting with Brian?
Brian King, I can remember being taken to the den by my dad and his brother and my granddad 4 generations ago. I first went down when I was 5. So that was in 1970. And I can remember the small walls at the Ilderton Road end. And I used to just lean on the wall watching Brian King warm up. And I was absolutely mesmerised by him. And after a few games or a few seasons, he noticed that I was there. And he'd always sort of come over and sort of like have a chat, pat me on the head. And, and at one time he pulled me on the pitch for a kickabout with him. And I just decided I wanted to be a goalkeeper. But, Brian King, what a goalkeeper he was. For me, he's up there as one of Mill's best ever. Brian Horn, remember seeing him play in our later on. He was older, great keeper. I mean, I think he's underestimated a lot. Only great shot stopper, influential on the pitch, and again another one of Millwall's great goalkeepers. But I think he is and was underestimated. Only, yeah.
Would you be going along to the executive lounge to hear the two Bryans?
Yeah, I'm actually.
It's next week, isn't it? Next week now.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm in the lounge actually on that Saturday, so it'd be nice to see him. I see Brian Horn most Saturdays and have a chat with him, but yeah, it'd be nice to see Kingy again and listen to their stories. And I think some can be told and some can't from back in the days when they were playing. But it still mesmerises me. Sort of talking to Brian King takes me back to my childhood and how he influenced me without him knowing he wanted to be a goalkeeper.
Does he remember you as the young boy, Dean?
I did mention it to him a couple of years ago, and he vaguely remembered, but I don't know if he was just being polite.
You mentioned about Horney there, coming from a Millwall supporting family, playing for his boyhood club, and he's the only goalkeeper Millwall have ever had that won promotion to the top flight. So you say he's underrated. He certainly shouldn't be. And one vital aspect of goalkeeping is they need to be brave. And we've had some very brave goalkeepers. Horney has to be the bravest goalkeeper we've ever had. He put his face in where the boots were. And for me, I'll always remember him as a brilliant goalkeeper.
Yeah, amongst goalkeepers, a lot of people say that you've got to be brave to be a goalkeeper. But amongst keepers, I think it's called stupid. Yeah, it's called stupid amongst keepers because you've just got to put your head in where no one else wants to be. Hence, broken noses, kick teeth that we've had replaced over the years. So, yeah, comes with the territory. And the only glory you get, saving a penalty. That doesn't happen often.
You have to have a mindset, though, Dean, to be a keeper, don't you? And what I mean by that, I think when you play out on a pitch, you can excuse yourself the odd mistake here and there, should we say. But as a keeper, you can't forgive yourself any.
Well, you say that.
Lose yourself.
You say that. I remember saying that Danny Baker once said on a video, talking about goalkeepers, and he turned around and said, sometimes goalkeepers can be about as stable as a Soviet nuclear missile. And,
that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
But the concentration for a goalkeeper is phenomenal. Like I say, outfield, you're flagging a bit, not having a good game, you can lose yourself for a couple of minutes. But as a keeper, you just got to be switched on because it can go from one end to the other end in 20 seconds and you're under pressure. So, and, we've all been there, you've all got caught out, stupid goals, and you just look stupid.
Well, but look, before you go, Dean, how about a prediction for our tough test away to West Brom this Saturday?
I'll take a point now. It's going to be a tough game. They're up there. I mean, we want to go and win every game. I want Millwall to win every game we play in, whether it's little cup games, league games. I want us to win everything. But it's going to be a tough game. And if we come away with a point, I'll be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks for joining us this evening. All the best to Karen and the family. Yeah.
No, it's a pleasure.
It's been brilliant to have you on, mate. Until next time, it's bye for now from us.
Yeah, take care. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, cheers, Dean.
Cheers, Dean. Cheers, Dean. See you Saturday week.
Yeah, we'll do. Bye.
Well, Dean Wilson, great supporter and sponsor of Millwall and, of course, this show. We'll take a break there, listen to Bethany Warren describing a most helpful app.
Hi, Bethany Warren here. Millwall Lionesses have partnered with international smartphone application Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is an application that truly benefits the poor of sight and the blind, but is supported by those of us that can see.
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to first available number.
That's where you come in.
Establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app.
Print image.
And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in. So, would you care to be my eyes?
Download the app onto your smartphone now and help those that need your eyes straight away.
I am Henry Morgan, and I'm back with the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Stan Godwin and Ted Robinson. It's a great app. Download it. You can really make a difference for so many different people. People continue to lose their lives to this dreadful virus, or as a consequence of suffering with it, as deaths and infections continue in high numbers and hospitalisations are going up too. Our thoughts go out to their families, friends and those that take care of them. Additionally, please respect the requirements of transport and other locations in reducing risk of infection to reduce the possibility of further lockdowns, and also be accepting of the preference of individuals to protect themselves.
First of all, let's hear from the wonderful Harvey Brown.
Have you heard of the Lions Food Hub? It is now located in the Millwall Community Trust car park. That's beside Millwall's Den in Ballina Road. That Millwall Lioness, Kelly Webster, is involved. Don't forget to help the Lions Food Hub if you can. Thank you.
As Harvey said, they need support, and you can help if you can by making a one-off or a regular monetary donation online at Banquet. Oh dear, that is BANKUET. That's BANKUET. Or on Saturday, you can make donations pre-match at the hub about 50 metres down from the Lions store. Alternatively, you can also contact the team via their Twitter and Facebook sites. And what about sponsoring a player? Enjoying a great executive lounge package with family and or friends, or just getting behind the club in a number of different ways? Just contact Andrew Stead in the commercial department to find out more. And it's good night from me.
Next week, James returns on Friday at 8 p.m. to host the Rose Between the Two Fawns show. That's Patricia Maslin, Dave Hart and Gary Staff. I know you are trying to work out who the two fawns are, but it is straightforward. Anyway, from a pair of fawns on a panel to game changers, the Proper Blokes Club has massed an incredible following, and their walks take on some fantastic strolls. Next Saturday, we are at West Brom. Now, if you don't go to the Hawthorns, why not join the blokes on a trip from Brighton to Bognor? Come along and join Scott Johnson in breaking the stigma of men's mental health on this or any other walk and talk groups. There are regular walks from familiar locations. Just check out the Proper Blokes Club on Twitter and Facebook for arrangements. Good night.
Don't forget, everyone, player sponsorship for the Lionesses is available this season. Why not share the burden of sponsorship between a few of you or a couple of different companies? If you can give them some added support, you can find details on their website. Just put Millwall Lionesses into your browser and you will find them easily enough. Lastly, the Lionesses are still recruiting players at the moment. If anyone hears this and knows of someone who's interested in coming down to St Paul's, that's in Salter Road, Rotherhithe, please contact by email recruitment@millwall-lionesses.com. I'll repeat that, recruitment@millwall-lionesses.com. Or just come and introduce yourself on a Wednesday evening. Or you can direct message either their Twitter account or their Instagram account. Millwall_LFC. And don't forget, Millwall Romans need you too. So you can go along on a Wednesday night from 7:30 when they're training and introduce yourself to player manager Paul Loding and find out about getting involved. Now they've got 2 teams.
Lastly, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Don't forget you'll be able to listen to the NOLUT team bringing reports from our games both home and away, updates on Millwall Community Matters too on Maritime Radio Broadcasting 96.5 FM. That's it from me. Thanks to Jeff, Stan and Ted. Until next time, why not listen to the first of the new Millwall No One Likes Us Talking monthly podcasts. Links are on our social media sites and all popular podcast sites.